two speakers from NARIC, but they do not do the research related to astronomy, but you will learn from their talk which kind of research that they will do. So we have two speakers. The first speaker is Dr. Ronan Makatangai. So I think if you remember last year, Dr. Makatangai also came to give the talk related to what he was doing in that time. And this time we also have Dr. Raman Solanki. So he came from, Dr. Makatangai came from the Philippines, and Dr. Solanki came from India. So today they will give the talk related to atmospheric program at NORAD. So welcome both of them. So please.
Okay, so thank you for a very kind introduction. So actually, I know Dr. Sakhon for a long time.
10 years.
10 years already, yeah. So when I was doing my PhD in Germany, so she was doing her postdoc in also there. Okay, so yeah, so that's why I have this connection with the physics department here in CMU. Okay, so first I'd like to introduce this, well, like what Dr. Sakhon said, like, so in NARIT now, so you know NARIT, it's the National Astronomical Research Institute of Thailand. So basically, NARIT does is astronomical research, as well as lots of outreach activities as well, and also now we have like some advanced labs there, like for advanced machining, if you want to make your own, let's say, optics mounts, or if you want to coat your own mirrors. So we have the mirror coating facility there. And then, so this research group or research program of NARIT, which we just called recently, maybe 2 weeks ago. So we call the Atmospheric Research Unit of NARIT, or ARUN. Okay, so from Arun, like Arun Sawat, something like that. So it means morning. So we want to bring the morning to the research, something like that, or to wake you up, something like that. So, Atmospheric Research Unit of NARIT, and right now we are 4. So 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I was just alone doing the atmospheric research, so I couldn't call myself a group. And then Dr. Raman Solanki came, so we became like atmospheric research duo. And but now, 1 month ago, so 2 more research assistants also came. Sherin also here, and Wichawan from Sherin from Cochin University, also from India, and Wichawan from Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok. And now we are 4, so we can call ourselves a group or a research unit. And actually, the atmospheric or some things related to the Earth or to climate or about the atmosphere was actually started even before I came, which was like so I came to NARIT 2 years ago, and even before that, so I think NARIT wanted to have some research related to climate change and something that like affect the human or mankind, not just always looking out into space, but also like look within our Earth. Okay, so NARIT now doesn't only look into space, but also tries to study what's happening in the Earth. So they asked actually for like a call for proposal projects from different universities, and they started actually with looking at space weather. Okay, and that's what I'll start with some space weather. And actually, the research that was funded by NARIT related to space weather was actually from Mahidol University, and there's also up to now one of our closest partners. And then of course related to space weather is what's happening in the upper atmosphere, which is quite high, like around 100 kilometers in altitude, 80 kilometers. So it's like the mesosphere or ionosphere, something like that, because it's directly related to space weather. So the one that gets affected most by space weather is the upper atmosphere. But of course, so looking when we look further like into the effects of space weather, so you cannot only look. So because the atmosphere, so you know the atmosphere is like continuous fluid, no? So it's a fluid, it's continuous. So anything that happens in the upper atmosphere will also affect the lower atmosphere. And the lower, anything that's happening in the lower atmosphere, so actually there's a lot of happening in the lower atmosphere because this is where we live, no? So mankind, influence of man in the atmosphere is very much seen in the lower atmosphere. And of course, what's happening in the lower atmosphere will affect the upper atmosphere and they will all interact, okay? So actually we look at the entire atmosphere, not just upper, not just lower, but we try to also combine like the whole atmosphere in general. And then, so after that, I'll talk about, and also Dr. Ramos, I won't talk about much about this new instrument that we got, which is now in the new office of NERIT, which is in Astro Park in Don Quixote. This atmospheric lidar, so I'll just introduce briefly, but the main talk for today is from Dr. Raman, and he will talk more about this atmospheric lidar, which is a very interesting, as physicists, it is very interesting instrument. Lots of physics involved there, as well as in the analysis of data. And then all of this actually interacts together in what is called this global electric circuit, which I will just mention briefly later. Okay, so let's first start with space weather. So I want this talk to be a bit interactive so we don't get sleepy. So I'll go around and ask, especially the students. So students are here in the middle. So don't be afraid. So first, when you say space weather, what the first thing you can think of? Space weather. When you say space weather.
What do you think about space weather?
Space weather. What do you think? When you hear the word space weather?
You also can use your.
I think it's so cool.
So, but I mean, when you say space weather, like what kind of phenomena, what events usually associated with space weather? You have any idea? Space weather. Is there weather in space? Okay, solar wind, so something related to the solar wind. Cosmic rays, you know, cosmic rays. Okay, this radiation that we constantly get in the atmosphere. And so this space weather, actually it affects, let's say, satellites which are directly affected by the space weather. And at some point also affect some portions of the Earth's atmosphere. So you know about the aurora in the North Pole and South Pole. So these are some like direct effect of this space weather. And then sometimes, as you can see in this slide, so sometimes there are like events like what we call a solar storm. Oh, I did not copy the video. But anyway, so there was this giant solar storm that released some like lots of ionized particles coming from the sun, and it reached the Earth. This happened like January 20, 2005. And because of the Earth's, of course, the Earth has the magnetic field, no? And because of this magnetic field, so we are mostly protected from this, let's say, solar storm. But as you know, like, so all of these magnetic fields, so they like converge at the poles. We have the magnetic North Pole and South Poles. And some of these charged particles, they go to the Antarctic in the south and Arctic in the north. Okay, so this solar storm was greatly felt in the North Pole and South Pole. And this is just some I just summarized like some work with this is like the initial work related to space weather that NERIT funded and was doing. So this is with Mahidol University. So they have this they call neutron monitors, around the world. There's also actually one neutron monitor in Doyintanon at the Air Force Base. So if you've been at the top of Doyintanon, inside the Air Force Base, there's this called Princess Siringhorn neutron monitor. So the neutron monitor not only found in the poles, but it also found in the tropics as well, like the one there, and other stations. So, but for this solar storm in 2005, so it was greatly felt in the poles, particularly in Antarctica. So these two, the green and the blue, the green and the black graph there is the like they call the percent increase, okay, above, let's say, the background. In terms of, let's say, I think, yeah, so the neutron counts, okay, that was detected by this neutron monitor, or this high energy particles that was counted. So there was like, so it's quite strong. So there was like around 4,000% above the, what they call the galactic cosmic ray background count. So this is the count rate. So during in these two stations, but it was also felt in other stations. This one is in the Arctic, okay, in the North Pole, and so on. And in this project, which I think we just published a paper about that, and we together with Mahidol. So what they try to simulate after this detecting this high energy particles, okay, is how much the atmosphere, okay, was ionized. So you have these high energy particles that's shooting through the atmosphere, especially in Antarctica, and of course this will like ionize the atmosphere, okay, especially in the poles. So how much was ionized by this event? So they simulated, so they did some like what we call a Monte Carlo simulation. This is from the paper as well, and so they detected. So these are like the like during the event, okay, which actually just like lasted for 1 hour. And then this graph here is like what they call the ionization rate of the atmosphere. So in the beginning it was high, and then after the event finished, so it just went down. Okay. So this is the ionization rate of the atmosphere. So this is like the dose rate, okay, the dosage that you would get. Like if you were flying in the, let's say this is in the Antarctic. So if you're flying in the Antarctic and this event happens, so this is like the amount of let's say dose. So the same that you get, like for example when you have an X-ray or a CT scan from medical, yeah, so you get this amount of dose rate. So this is the like accumulated dose rate as well. So aside from affecting the atmosphere in terms of ionization, so it will also like can affect your health as well if it's high enough. And if we're at the unfortunately if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, okay, then you will feel that. So this is for Antarctic. This one similarly for the Antarctic. So similar observation. Okay. So the main message here, so the solar or the space weather also affect the atmosphere in terms of ionizing or producing ions in the atmosphere. And then there's this hypothesis, which is actually a bit controversial. Okay? They call this so ions like galactic cosmic rays, like this solar energetic particles from solar storms. So they can ionize the atmosphere, and usually when clouds are produced, so they need like some initial ions to grow, like for particles to combine with the ions, and then they can grow into clouds. So there is this cosmic ray and cloud hypothesis. However, it's still a hypothesis up to now. It is like difficult to prove because there are many ingredients to cloud formation, not just galactic cosmic rays. So there's also ingredients coming from the lower atmosphere, from the ground. So this is like from like industry. Okay, they release these particles here, which become sulfuric acid in the atmosphere, and then they combine with these ions, and they keep on growing depending on, let's say, the water vapor available there, Depending on their properties, they can grow into clouds. Okay, and there's also a big source from the ocean. Okay, we call this dimethyl sulfide, which becomes sulfur dioxide and also becomes sulfuric acid, and then they can grow again and become cloud droplets. So the hypothesis is that cosmic rays can affect cloud formation. But the question, the real main question is how much significant, let's say, is this factor? How significant, let's say, are galactic cosmic rays in cloud formation? Because there's a big source coming from the lower atmosphere as well, from the ground and from the ocean. Okay, so there's a big source. So for climate scientists, for them, even for us, the main factor, the main ingredient is actually what's coming from the ground and from the atmosphere. But if you tell this to a space scientist, so he will much disagree, because of course they want their projects to get funded, so they keep on pushing about this effect. Like it's the major is from cosmic ray, but yeah, it's actually not yet true. It could be a factor, but maybe it's just like a very small factor compared to let's say the factor coming from man, okay, from industry, for example, or from natural sources, okay. And it's quite hard to like really find relationship between cosmic rays and clouds. And one thing also is the atmosphere is they call it's a non-linear. Okay, so I don't know if you've heard about the butterfly effect or Lorentz, the one from Edward Lorenz. So it says that like any small changes that you do, let's say in one part of the atmosphere, can affect another part. Okay, so the thing is the atmosphere is so non-linear, so it's not always that if you increase, let's say this ionization coming from cosmic ray or from solar radiation, it doesn't mean that it will affect clouds as well. Okay, so there's a lot of like processes in between, lots of other ingredients that come together to form clouds. So that's why right now it's still a hypothesis here. So that's why aside from looking at this cosmic ray, so there's a big source, let's say related to cloud formation that affect the climate. There's a lot of source that's coming from the ground. So that's why aside from looking at the upper atmosphere, we also look at the lower atmosphere. And this is my photo. So I come originally from the Philippines, and then when I went to Chiang Mai, so I took the photo like somewhere here. So this is how it looked like, so clean and clear. So this was around April or March. And then when I went to Bangkok, then from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, so it looked like this. Okay, so much different. Okay, so in the beginning I thought, are these like clouds or fog? But it like looked like a bit brownish, and actually it's the pollution. Okay, that we always hear about and experience here in Chiang Mai. Okay, every year, no? Every March, April, February, March, April, and it's like this is like a personal motivation for me to keep on studying or to start studying about aerosols here in this region. And of course, these aerosols have a lot of effects, has health effects, depending on the size of the particles. Of course, the smaller the size, it will affect more sensitive parts of the human body. That's why when during March, February, April, so I guess most ride a motorbike, right? And you wear the mask. And I saw a lot of people wearing this the mask used by doctors. Actually, it's useless, that mask. So what you have to do, you have to buy in Home Pro. I don't want to advertise. So in Home Pro, they have this N95 mask. So that's the one you have to use, not the surgical mask. Surgical mask, the particles will still keep on coming inside there. So you just spend more on something useless. So yeah, so just use this N95 mask, okay? And that will help you more, okay, to prevent like some disease or disorder in the respiratory system. Okay, so next time when I see you riding the motorbike, I should see you with the N95. So if I see you with the surgical, I will stop you on the road. I'll give you for free the
Yeah, you
N95.
will do that, right? You will do that.
Sure. We can ask Nari to sponsor N95 mask. Anyway, aside from affecting health, it also affects, of course, climate. So the amount of aerosol in the air affects the properties of clouds. So usually in a clean atmosphere, the cloud droplets are big, okay, and that will that lets some light through as well. So it affects the amount of solar radiation that you get on the ground. Compared when they are polluted, usually when they're polluted, there are smaller particles. So the cloud usually gets whiter, so it affects the amount of reflection of the cloud, and it also affects the amount of radiation that reaches the surface. You have less solar radiation reaching the surface. So aside from that, there's also effect like depending on the type of aerosol. If it's what they call the soot or they call black carbon, usually the one that come out of the rot den, this is a black smoke, no? So these are soot. And once they get into the atmosphere and form into clouds, they actually make the cloud smaller, and sometimes it like stops the precipitation or the rainfall. So it can contribute more, let's say, to drought conditions. Okay, because this soot or these black carbon particles, they absorb most of this heat, and then it re-evaporates. Okay, some of these cloud droplets. And then, aside from that, when you have a polluted atmosphere, so this one is we have this soot, okay, soot or this black carbon. But let's say coming from the agricultural burning, which is like mostly a bit whitish smoke, what they usually do is they actually sometimes enhance the amount of precipitation or sometimes delay. It changes the behavior, the daily pattern in the rainfall, in the timing of the rainfall, because they are small particles, no? So that means there's more time, let's say, for these particles to grow. So you get like really tall clouds, you get this intense thunderstorm, and usually when it rains, it will rain like really strong rain. Okay, so aside from health, it also affects the amount of solar radiation that you get. It affects that's called cloud lifetime. It also affects the amount of rainfall, okay, that you get. Okay, so all these affect each other. And what are the causes of this? So as you know, Chiang Mai is also in the valley. So the topography or the location of Chiang Mai is surrounded by these mountains. Okay, so they also affect the amount of pollution that we get or that happened here in the Chiang Mai. And aside from that, Chiang Mai is quickly developing, so a lot more urbanization happened. And in the surrounding regions, in these areas, so many farms or many forests are being converted into agricultural land. So, for example, in Mechem, which is somewhere here, I think. Okay. So we went there once just to look, and yeah, we saw a lot of this corn farm, which was formerly, I think, they were like forests, and now it's a lot of these cornfields. And this corn is actually not used for eating, but it's used for animal feed. Okay, for animal feed to, let's say, for beef, to produce more beef or pork. And yeah, so they call this commercial contract farming. So many big companies, they hire these farmers to grow these crops like on a contract basis, like short term. And then, yeah, of course, then after that, they burn, because it's a really large area. So it's hard to like collect all these waste product and then put them, let's say, in some, to make charcoal, for example. So they just burn like open field burning. And since corn, I think corn you can like harvest like almost 4 times a year. So there's more chance of this burning happening as well. And then aside from that, because of this change, let's say from forest to corn, so it releases what is called these volatile organic compounds that also contribute to the smog or to the haze. Okay? And then aside from that, there's also what we call this transboundary pollution transport, let's say coming from Myanmar, from Laos, Cambodia, and all that. And of course, the one that Dr. Raman will talk about today is so the meteorology in the valley and on the slopes. So the wind directions, the temperatures, they affect what is called this PBL dynamics. So Dr. Raman will explain more about what is PBL and how we can measure that using this new instrument that we got. Okay, so a lot of causes. Of course, it's also depend on, let's say, this El Nino, La Nina. Like 2015, I think was really bad here because it was a strong El Nino, so we had lots of drought conditions. So this year we are a bit lucky because, yeah, it's not a strong El Nino like 2015 or 2016. So all of this play a part in this smog. So it's actually a very complicated problem. It's also a social problem. Like what we did together with some colleagues from Lampang or Chapat. So we also like did some survey. So we went down to the village level. So we went to some villages like in Pan, in Chiang Rai, in Ngao, in Lampang. So Pan, we went to some village which have good laws about burning, so they're not allowed. And it's quite amazing. So these villagers, so they also have a researcher there, and this researcher uses some satellite data to catch people who are burning. They even so it's not allowed for their village, and it's somewhere here. Okay, so as you can see, so these are like what we call the fire frequency or fire spots, or what we call hot spots from satellite. And yeah, it's quite clear here. It was a different story in Ngao, in Lampang. So the villagers were saying that most of the fires were like caused intentionally. So they intentionally burn to get budget to put out the fires. So they need, of course, fires to get budget to put out the fire. I mean, I think something related to some political person. Okay? And if you look at the satellite image, this is the highway, I think from Lampang to Callao. Okay? Along the highway, you can see most of the hot spots where they start the fires. Okay, over here, and which makes sense in some point because it's easier to set fires intentionally along the highway.
Yeah, but can I ask that where is the budget to get the fire from?
Huh?
Where is the budget?
From the government. So they ask the government to have budget to put out the fire, but they need fire, so they intentionally set the fire. Okay, which is really yeah. So we did some studies using some model study in Chiang Mai 2016, comparing a model with observations. Also with some animation, so I can show you just a quick animation. This was in 2016, before, during, and Songkran. So you can see, well, some of the fires here also come from the neighboring countries like Myanmar, Laos, and how the atmosphere is also changing, okay, and transporting all these pollutants. So yeah, so being in atmospheric science, so it's not only about the science, there's also a lot of social stuff that's happening, political stuff as well. So it's a very complicated problem. And yeah. So that also made us go in, or to have this instrument, which Dr. Raman will talk about more. Now it's in the Astropark. It looks like this. So it has some enclosure to protect, to be weatherproof. And then we nicknamed it Foon. Okay, dust. So started observations since April 2017 this year, and this is just some typical signal coming from the LiDAR. So if it's lots of aerosols, so this become white. If there's some cloud, you have some sharp peak, for example, and so it can go up to 20-kilometer altitude. Okay. So inside this enclosure is the laser, which is just small, have this like suitcase, and so on. So that was the first LiDAR we got, and we're planning to get another one, which we plan to put in the southern part of Thailand. So this is in response to what happened there, this extreme rainfall event this December and January, okay, this year. Okay, so we plan to put it there in the south. And just last Sunday, so we went to visit the site. So it's in the Songkhla Southern Narit Regional Observatory, which is almost about to be completed. So here, over there. So very nice place. So this one is more to get, let's say, the marine aerosols, and they've maybe characterized and maybe improve the precipitation forecast in the southern part. So for this case, we will nickname the LiDAR as Phone. So here is Phun, dusty in Chiang Mai, and in the south is rainy, so we call Phone. And all of these come together from space weather, galactic cosmic rays, to aerosols. So they come together in this concept called the global electric circuit. So thunderstorms also play a part in all this, space weather as well. So this is like the overall picture. So aside from that, we also did we also had some like outreach activity in some schools in Chiangau. So we had this big land cover land exchange science meeting, and some training as well. And then we also plan like to coordinate with Professor Dr. Sucha, who's doing these advanced lab experiments for, I think, undergraduate, third year undergrad, to include maybe the LiDAR in one of those experiments. So NARIC is also like giving out some like scholarships, or what you call it, research scholarship. If you're doing your thesis and you want to do astronomy or atmospheric science, so there's like some scholarship, let's say for 1 to 2 years while doing your thesis. So right now there's like, I think, one graduate student who availed this scholarship from Payao Uni, and in the past it was, I think, also from LPRU. But aside from that, we're also like co-advising some students in this uni. So maybe in the future also for the atmospheric physics group from Chiang Mai Uni as well. So these are now the staff from our research group. So Sharon here, who finished in India, in Cochin University, and worked there, and he's doing more chemistry climate modeling. So chemistry and physics, okay, you cannot separate them in the atmospheric science. That's why we call it atmospheric science, not just atmospheric physics or not just atmospheric chemistry. Okay, so all of these come together. And Dr. Ram will talk about the LiDAR. So he's doing LiDAR data analysis and mounting meteorology here in Chiang Mai. And new research assistant from Shula looking more into aerosol cloud interaction. And then maybe in the next year we get another one researcher, Dr. Vanessa. I think she also graduated here from Chiang Mai. I don't know if you know her. Okay, so that's it for my part. So this is our group. We have also this Facebook group if you want to see more about atmospheric science. And if you're interested more, maybe in the future work for us, collaborate here in the university. So please email me. Okay, so that's for my part. Thank you.
So maybe we have some questions before the next talk.
Okay, for the next talk.
So if you have some questions to ask Dr. Bruno, or maybe some comment, or if you cannot say in English, or also can say in Thai, and I will try to translate that in English for him.
So it's very clear.
Yeah.
So
He told me that if you don't have a question, he will have questions for you.
What's my question?
Oh, I didn't tell you that. Sorry. Yeah, we can do it at the end, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, NARIT is not only doing astronomy, so we're also doing atmospheric science as well. And try to relate astronomy with atmospheric science, because I think also one of the reasons we had this atmospheric science group, the astronomy observations are also like being affected now by the pollution. Even if the observatory is on the top of Dointanon, so sometime during the nighttime, they can see like this haze, even in the nighttime at Dointanon. So yeah, so the pollution from the ground is also affecting the astronomical observations. Okay. So
I have one
Ah,
quick question. You have you did say something about crown hypothesis.
yeah.
What is the usefulness of that study for us?
Because the clouds, of course, they affect the climate. You know? So the amount, because the climate is a delicate balance between this incoming solar radiation and outgoing solar radiation. So if you change, let's say let's say the amount of cloud or the properties of the clouds, then that can change, let's say the temperatures on the Earth, and of course, if changes in the temperature, then it will affect like everything, like the chain reactions, everything will be affected. But for that hypothesis, so they were saying that the major contribution for clouds formation is like from this galactic cosmic ray. But we all know that aside from this galactic cosmic ray, so like human also release a lot of this aerosol that affect the clouds as well. So maybe in the past, in the prehistorical time, maybe the galactic cosmic ray and solar radiation could have been the major factor that drive the climate. But now it seems it's man, it's us who is driving this climate. So that's why we have this climate change.
I remember from the talk that you said the contribution from the low atmosphere and for the ground level is much more than the one that you get from the solar.
Yeah.
Can you estimate that contribution, like how many percent? Or it depends on the area?
Maybe it depends on the area. Maybe like in the pole where it's like cleaner, less people. So maybe the effect, let's say from cosmic ray, might be higher percent compared to in the tropics, for example, here in the tropics.
So that means this hypothesis is also like local hypothesis. It depends on the area.
Yeah, I think so they have some localized behavior as well. Yeah, that's what we plan to find out, like how much really, like in the total, like global, how much is the percent from the lower, how much from, let's say, cosmic ray. Is it significant, like coming from cosmic ray?
Thank you. So, any more questions? So you also can ask Dr. Ronald at the end of the talk.
Yeah. Is by any chance do you have any plan to report your result to the government about the cause of the air pollution in Chiang Mai? I don't know. Do you have any plan about this? Because as you said in this talk, you said that the results for the crop,
Yeah.
the crop, yeah, for the corn for the animals, not for us. Why you have to grow that?
Because you eat animal at the end.
Yeah, I know that,
That's why it's better to be-
but I think they grow a lot, like moreover for us.
Yeah, well, the thing is, so we are scientists, and sometimes it's really hard to communicate to
I don't know,
non-science
maybe
people.
Dalit have more potential than
More influence.
our department. Yeah.
We will try. But of course, we need like the help from, of course, local people, because especially students, because maybe we might need to collect some data out in the field. Like here from MECHEM, for example, then maybe in your house you can set up an instrument. Yeah, we'll try to. Of course, that is our goal, like to. But the thing is, as you can see, even like Myanmar and Laos, Cambodia, so the pollution is actually a regional problem. It's not just a problem of one country. Sometimes I think we also get some pollution from China, for example, depending on the wind direction. So it's a regional problem that have also regional solutions.
However, last summer the weather was better than 10 years ago. What happened to Chiang Mai? Yeah, I think last March and April the weather was better than other year.
You mean how many years ago?
I can say 10 years ago.
10 years, okay. Well, yeah, I think Chiang Mai is rapidly developing, and of course,
No, but she said it was better.
it was better.
Last year, only last year.
Only last year was
Ah.
better.
This
Okay.
year.
This year.
This year was better.
Yeah.
So I think 2016, 2015, there was this strong El Nino. So you know it's El Nino, La Nina. If it's El Nino, it's like drought condition here. If it's La Nina, it will be strong rain, so it's also not good because you have lots of flood. So yeah, what's happening locally is also being affected by what they call this larger circulation pattern. So 2015, 2016 was this strong El Nino, which brought this drought condition. Compare this year was like they call it a neutral year, so it's not a strong El Nino, not La Nina. So it was much better, especially during the April and May compared to other year. So yeah, it also depends on not just on what we are emitting like from the agriculture, but it also depend on meteorology, climate, and this larger circulation. So everything like connected.
So more questions from the audience? So maybe you can ask him later after the second talk. Maybe it's a talk unrelated anyway. So yeah, please thank you to Dr. Roman. Hey, Ronald. Sorry. Usually call him Ron. So I get confused with that. Okay, yeah. Then the next speaker is Dr. Rama Solanki. So he will give a talk in the title of Micropulse LiDAR, and the talk will be longer than the first talk and more detail on that. So please welcome Dr. Rama.
Thank you for the welcome, and I also thank the organizer for this opportunity to present my work here. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to talk about LiDAR. So I think many of you know about LiDAR. Does anyone of you know about LiDAR? It's actually an acronym. It's an acronym for light detection and ranging. It's like similar to radar and sonar. Maybe you have heard about sonar and radars. It's like similar to that. The only difference is this light. So what is light? Light is the light. And by the light we mean the visible light. So it's like from 330 to like 700 nanometer. That is the visible light region. And we are focusing on that section, so it's called light detection and ranging. So this here says it's an active remote sensing of the atmosphere. So what is remote sensing? Remote sensing is like measuring something into the atmosphere by looking at it. And how do we look at it? We can send our own light at the particle or at the atmosphere, or we can measure the light from the sun. So we can take the sun as the source of the light. So when the sun is the source of the light, it's called passive remote sensing. And when we have our own source of light, it's called active remote sensing. So this is an active remote sensing technique of the atmosphere. Actually, it's a very exciting technique, and it's one of the most sophisticated technique in the atmospheric measurement these days, because the thing is that it can provide measurements of profile in the atmosphere. It can provide a vertical profile measurement. I think most of you, if you see usually, when we talk about atmosphere, it's like point measurements. The wind speed at this point, the temperature, relative humidity or the pollutants concentration. They are only point measurements. But this technique has the capability of providing vertical profiles in the atmosphere. Vertical profiles of the constituent we want to measure. And that information can provide what is going on, how the atmosphere is behaving in the course of the day or in the course of the entire year. We can have such kind of understanding from these measurements. So this is the photograph of Chiang Mai from Doi Sutat. It's a very clear day, and we can see the mountains far away in the side. So it's a very clear day because probably the pollutants were not that much. So coming to the coming to the outline. This is the outline of the talk for today. I will first of all like to talk about the principle of the technique itself. What is the principle behind this technique? Then the applications of LIDAR. Aside from atmospheric measurements, it can do many other things also. And then what is my main aim is to talk about aerosols and atmospheric boundary layers, because these are the measurements we are taking from this LIDAR. And then I will talk about the mini MPL, which has been installed at NARIT recently, and the expected outcomes from those measurements. So the principle of LIDAR technique is very simple. It's not a very complicated thing. What we just do is we send a laser pulse like this laser pulse, and if we can measure the time taken by the laser pulse in going to the like in this case to the wall and coming back, if we can measure the time, we can measure the distance of the wall from my point. So it's like simple as this. So simply just measuring the distance, but that is like the prime measurement. We can also measure some other things like the intensity of the backscatter, how much is being backscattered, and the shape of the backscatter, what is the shape of the scatterer, and also if we can measure change in the frequency because of the absorption or because of the movement of the scatterer, then we can measure the velocity of the scatterer and probably the composition of the scatterer. So a LIDAR usually consists of three primary units: the transmitter, which is the source of the light, then there is receiver, and then we have the processing unit, which actually processes the signal and provides us the useful parameters. So as I was talking about, there are a lot of applications of LIDAR. The prime in our case is the atmospheric probing. We can do atmospheric probing, or we can measure the properties of the atmosphere. Usually what you will hear about with LIDAR is the distance and range measurements. That is the most common applications of LIDAR, which also includes the elevation and topography mapping. So usually when we are planning a city in some location, or we are trying to like urbanize a city, they are usually topography measurement to plan the drainage system of the city. So these measurements are also used in those kind of things. And this one is the chemical composition. It's related to this one because I was saying that if we measure the change in the frequency, we can measure how the laser is interacting with the species that we are trying to measure. Like in this case, if we see here, this area is more black. So it's because it's a water reservoir, and it's absorbing the light from the light we are sending towards it. So it's more absorbing. So we can like quantify that this is the water reservoir and this is the grassland. So it's possible to actually quantify the chemical composition of this scatterer also. So coming to the main application I was talking about, the atmospheric probing with LIDAR. So we are dealing usually with the elastic scattering. That means we are dealing with a case where there is no absorption of the laser energy. It's whatever energy we are sending in the atmosphere, we are getting it back. There is no absorption. by the scatterer. So from the usually the elastic lidars, we can quantify the aerosol, which are actually the particulate measurements, the cloud cover or the cloud top and the cloud base we can measure with lidar, and the temperature profiles also we can measure, but only about 30 kilometers from the ground, because above 30 kilometers we do not expect any particulates like the one coming from the human interaction with the atmosphere. So above 30 kilometers there is no human impact on the atmosphere, and we can measure the temperature profiles with elastic scattering lidar, the basic lidar. So there are other lidars also. As I was saying, if we can measure the shift in the frequency, we can measure the wind speed, or we can have turbulence measurements of the atmosphere. So what is the wind speed, what is the wind direction, we can also measure that with the lidar. Those lidars are usually called the Doppler lidars. Also we can have the measurements of water vapor in the entire column of the atmosphere. This is done by the Raman lidar, which is based on the principle of Raman scattering. And then we have the differential absorption lidar. So here we have two simultaneous signals we send in the atmosphere, and by the relative absorption in the atmosphere we can measure the minor constituents like the ozone or the hydrocarbons as well. So in total, lidars are like providing so many measurements in the atmosphere from close to the ground and up in the atmosphere, like they are completely providing us a very good picture of the entire atmosphere and the vertical profiles mostly. So, as I was saying, my main aim here is to talk about aerosols and boundary layer. So what are aerosols? Aerosols are like trace constituents. We can say them as trace constituents. What are trace constituents? Trace constituents are like the part of the atmosphere, the constituents which are in very less concentration, like less than 1%. But these constituents are like capable of affecting the atmosphere, because we don't know how the atmosphere will behave if the concentration of the trace constituents change. So aerosol is like one of those trace constituents. Aerosol is actually just like a particle only in the solid or liquid phase, and it is capable of affecting the atmosphere. So how can it affect the atmosphere? I will tell you later. But for initially, what are the sources of aerosol? The sources of aerosols are like anthropogenic and natural. Most of the major constituents are the natural aerosols, but also in many of the cities the anthropogenic sources can be dominant. The natural sources include volcanic eruptions, the sea spray or we can say like the salt from the wave breaking in the oceans. Then we have the dust storms in the arid regions, and the forest fires, which can be like natural also. Sometimes, many of the times they are natural, and sometimes they are like man-made also. And then on this side we have the anthropogenic sources, which may be like industries, ships, and cooking and automobiles. So the typical size of aerosols is from 10 to 10,000 nanometer, and if we look at the distribution, the size distribution, or the surface area distribution of the aerosols, the peak of this distribution is 513 nanometer. So this wavelength, if we use to probe the aerosols, it can be like a representative of the entire spectrum of size range of the aerosol. And one important point is that the aerosols are like they are affecting the atmosphere. How they are affecting the atmosphere is because if we usually talk about the greenhouse gases are like increasing the global temperatures because of the carbon dioxide and methane emissions from the polar regions. So we usually talk about global warming, but it's not so obvious. Some people say that there is no warming yet. It's probably because of the aerosols. The aerosols are kind of like acting as a coolant to the atmosphere. So they are in a way masking the effect of the greenhouse gases. So it is expected that in the coming years, if the greenhouse gases emission is reduced still, because the aerosol concentration will keep on increasing. So we don't know what is going to happen. Is it going to cool or is it going to warm? Because we don't know how the aerosol are interacting with the atmosphere. Are they cooling the atmosphere or they are warming the atmosphere? To quantify that, there is one term which is called radiative forcing. So radiative forcing is actually a measurement of how much a phase constituent is affecting the atmosphere. Is it warming the atmosphere or is it cooling? So if we see here, this is the radiative forcing related to 70-50 watt per meter square as per the IPCC 2013 report. So if you see here, this is like the total radiative forcing. So it's on the negative side. This gray bar is from the black carbon, which is mostly absorbing, so it can warm the atmosphere. But all other like mineral dust, sulfate and nitrate and organic carbon, they are acting like coolant in the atmosphere. They are acting like coolant because they are capable of scattering. They mostly scatter the radiation. However, the black carbon usually absorbs the radiation. So the total effect is like cooling. It's like minus 0.27 watt per meter square. However, there is a large error bar also here, so it's not certain. So this is like the direct effect of the aerosol, because it's like it's directly related to the radiative impact. How much sunlight is coming and how much is being scattered or absorbed by the aerosol. There is an indirect effect. The indirect effect is the interaction of clouds with the aerosol. As Ron was saying, that we don't know how clouds are actually modified by the aerosol. Does it increase the lifetime of the aerosol, or sometimes it can lead to heavy precipitation, sometimes it can even burn the cloud, it can stop the precipitation. So it's like we don't know for sure that what is the interaction of aerosols with the cloud, and it's primarily because we don't have the vertical profile measurements of the aerosols. So vertical profile measurements of the aerosols are very much important in quantifying the indirect effect of aerosols in the atmosphere, because we can straight away like understand the relation between cloud formation and aerosol distribution in the atmosphere through lidar profile measurements. So this is the second thing I was talking about, atmospheric boundary layer. Atmospheric boundary layer actually is just a turbulent layer, which is a layer because it is there because, as you can see here, the atmosphere is a like a fluid medium. It's like a fluid, and on the bottom we have earth, which is solid. So wherever this fluid is interacting with the solid surface of the earth, a boundary layer is created, which is actually absorbing most of the momentum of this interaction between the atmosphere and the earth. So this layer is highly turbulent, and it's usually of the thickness of up to 2 kilometers from the ground surface. And the major like identification of this layer is whatever changes are taking place in the Earth's surface, those changes are directly transmitted into the atmospheric boundary layer within time scales of hour or less. So if there is some change in the ground surface, that change will be seen directly in the atmospheric boundary layer within a time of like less than an hour. So it's like actually responding to the changes in the surface of the ground. And the feature of the boundary layer are like very common because we spend our life in the boundary layer. So the Diurnal cycles of exchanging heat, water vapor and pollutants are the usual features of boundary layer. The regular change in the temperatures and wind speed, these are the features of the boundary layer. And I was saying in the beginning, the turbulent, this is actually a turbulent layer. It's highly turbulent. So the most clear identification of boundary layer is the turbulence. It's highly turbulent. So if we, here is one picture I will show. This is the radar wind profiler measurements. So it can actually measure the turbulence in the atmosphere by sensing the atmospheric cells which are highly turbulent. So this here shows the signal to noise ratio of the atmosphere at a particular location. So here we see that this is the sunrise time and this is the sunset time. So the height which you can say like this yellow layer, this is the boundary layer top. So the boundary layer grows in the morning time to a height of about 500 meters and then it decays again and becomes like 100 meters in the night time. So it's like a diurnal cycle. Every day it grows and then it goes back again. So it's like in response to majorly to the sun, the solar radiation, and also to some other factors. So there is a very direct relation between aerosols and atmospheric boundary layer. And first of all, if we talk about aerosols, they are very famous in the scientific community. They are famous because we can have a direct visual effect of the aerosols in the atmosphere. This here shows that if it's a clean day, the visibility is very much good, and on a bad polluted day, the visibility is highly reduced. Why is it so? Because the aerosols are usually confined in the boundary layer. This is the boundary layer top. So they cannot go above this. It's kind of a lid. It's kind of a lid that the pollutants cannot cross. So what happens? The pollutants which are emitted near the surface, they have a very small volume for dispersion. So this volume actually it's like a lid which controls the volume of dispersion. So if the volume is less, the concentration will be more, and if the volume is more, the concentration will be less. So usually it's like a very simple thing in the mountainous topography. If you are living in a mountainous topography and if you put a forest fire in the daytime, it will not be that much harmful because the boundary layer height will be more, so the pollutants will get more volume to disperse. But if one puts up a forest fire in the night time, the boundary layer will be shallow, so the pollutants will have to disperse in a smaller volume, and the concentration of pollutants will be more. So a simple understanding of boundary layer can be helpful if we can communicate with the people while putting up the forest fires. So coming to the mini MPL at NARED, this is a new technology which is being made by the Sigma Space. So this is the optical path diagram of the instrument. This is actually this path is different as this because we have the telescope here and this is the telescope here, and this is the receiver and this here is the receiver. So what happens is, this is the laser. The laser sends a light beam, a pulse of laser, and it is expanded by the beam expander to reduce the divergence of the laser, and then it goes into these turning mirrors, and it goes up into the atmosphere from the telescope. So this is the path here, and when it comes back, it comes from the telescope, goes again with the turning mirror, and here it goes into the receiver straight away. This is the PMT receiver. So with this, we can measure the intensity of backscatter of the laser. So how much light is getting backscattered from the atmosphere, we can measure that. These are the specifications of the mini MPL. As the title of my talk is mini, or it's a micro mini kind of thing. So what is micro there? The micro is the laser energy. It's 3.5 microjoule. And it's mini because the size is very small. This is like only 25 centimeters only. So it's like extremely portable. It can be transported from one place to another on a truck only. You just need to put it on the truck and you can transport it anywhere. And you can even make mobile measurements with it. The pulse rate, the source of the laser is the NDI laser, which is emitting at 532 nanometer. And these two parameters are actually the internal settings of the instrument, which are important in setting up what is the maximum height we can cover with the LiDAR and what is the resolution in the vertical. So this LiDAR is capable of making measurements every 15 meters in the atmosphere. So the first measurement is at 15 meters, second is at 30 meters, and then at 45 meters up to, it usually provides signal up to 10 kilometers in the atmosphere. However, the best data signal is usually can be detected up to 40 kilometers. However, the usual range, the useful range is from 0 to 10 kilometers. The receiver is a Galilean telescope which has a field of view of 220 microrad and a diameter of 80 millimeter, and the detector efficiency is 25%, which is actually quite good. Usually the detector efficiencies are like 10% only. It's a very nice detector we have. So this LiDAR is special in one more way. It's a coaxial LiDAR. So what is coaxial? Coaxial is that when the transmitter field of view and the receiver field of view is coaxial. That means there is no blank region between the merging of the field of view of the transmitter and the receiver. This number here we see 220 microrad is actually a very small angle. So if the system is biaxial, if the transmitter is separated from the receiver, then we cannot measure the atmosphere straight away from the ground. We will get measurements like starting from 1 kilometer of the ground surface. So this system is like very much designed for making atmospheric bound length measurements, because it can provide measurements straight from the ground up. So this is now the technical part. As I was saying, the field of view. This small inset here shows the field of view of the transmitter. This is the laser beam, and this is the telescope field of view. So the laser field of the transmitter field of view is always inside the receiver field of view. So there is no blank region. So what is happening? We get the measurement of this quantity only, which is the backscatter signal. So at every 15 meters, there is if we send a pulse of laser in the atmosphere, from every 15 meters, we are counting the number of backscattered photons. How many photons are being backscattered from the atmosphere? And they are usually backscattered by only if there is a cloud or if there is a aerosol particle in the atmosphere. So by measuring this backscattered signal, we need to solve this equation if we want to estimate the aerosol backscatter profile. So to solve the aerosol backscatter profile, first of all, in this equation we have system factor, which is usually taken care by the company itself, the manufacturers. This is the geometric factor, which takes care of the overlap between the transmitter and the receiver, and R square is there because of the geometry, because we are measuring only the R square area of the entire sphere, because every point whenever the laser is interacting with the atmosphere, it is isotropic scattering. So it's being scattered in the entire sphere. However, we are only measuring the R square area of the entire sphere. So it's like 1 by R square. So and these two are the actual measurements which you want to measure. This is the backscatter coefficient, and this is the transmittivity of the atmosphere. So backscatter is just simple backscattering. Whatever light is being backscattered in 180 degrees in the opposite direction towards the lidar, and the transmittivity is because of the extinction. It can be because of the scattering or because of the absorption. So it's like a clear relation with the Beer-Lambert's law. So it's a kind of like a representative of that. And this power to here is because the signal is going up and it's coming back. So it's two-way. So because of this two-way transmission, it's a square here. And this last term is the background signal, which is because of the sunlight in the daytime and because of the moon and the stars in the night time. So if we can we have these measurements. This we have from the measurement. This we have from the company, and this we have if we can average the signal in the higher altitudes. Like if we average the signal from say 20 to 25 kilometers, that backscatter is because that signal is coming because of the noise only. There will be no actual signal in that range. Like about 20 kilometers, there will be no actual signal. It will only be noise. So if we average that signal in that range, that will give us the background signal. So there is one problem here. The problem is that we have two unknowns, backscatter and transmittivity. But we have only one equation. So we need to have one critical assumption. The assumption is that we approximate the ratio between these two parameters. We say that the backscatter is related to the transmittivity. It's called the lidar ratio. It's like a ratio of the backscatter to the transmittivity. Or we can, what we usually talk about in usual terms is like lidar ratio is the ratio of extinction to backscatter. So whatever extinction is there and whatever backscatter is there, it is constant in the atmosphere. It's an assumption, obviously it's an assumption, but it's critical because without that assumption we cannot solve this equation. So we put this assumption here and it becomes lidar ratio here, and then we can simply solve this equation for the backscatter profile. So these are the measured and derived parameters from the mini MPL. It automatically provides the measurements of normalized relative backscatter, which is an equation consisting of the raw count and dead time correction, after pulse correction and the background correction and the overlap and laser energy. Now this lidar is capable of measuring the polarization of the backscatter light because it has two channels which can measure by which we can measure the polarization of the backscatter light. So from that polarization we can measure the depolarization ratio. So depolarization ratio is like a representative of the shape of the scatterer. If the depolarization ratio is like 1, or here if we put it will be like from 0 to 1. So if the depolarization ratio is 0, then the scatterer is spherical. And if the depolarization ratio is 1, then the scatterer is like maximum aspherical. Whatever to the extent it can be aspherical. So usually if we see this lidar we use, it's like on this 530 nanometer, it provides measurements of aerosols and ice crystals in the atmosphere. So ice crystals in the atmosphere are usually found in cirrus clouds, which are like high altitude clouds, usually found about at an altitude of 10 kilometers. So this lidar can provide measurements of aerosols, different types of aerosols we can quantify based on the depolarization ratio, and also we can have measurements of the ice crystals in the cirrus clouds. And based on these two parameters, we can measure some derived parameters which are ABL height, cloud base and top for the lower atmosphere only, and the mass concentration, which is derived on some empirical relation between the between the backscatter of the aerosol and the PM10 concentration near the ground surface. So this is the range time intensity plot from the milliampere. It is in a plot of normalized backscatter. So this picture here shows how the aerosol concentration in the vertical profile changes during the course of the day. Here we see at around 8 a.m. in the morning, the concentration of aerosols is not that high in the atmosphere. It's mostly like clean, and it's very much clean, about 2 kilometers. So the boundary layer is playing the role here in transporting the pollutants from the ground surface in the atmosphere. So this layer is slowly growing, and it goes up to 2 kilometers, which is the boundary layer height in the noon time. So this is the mixing volume for the pollutants, and it was like well mixed at that time, and at the 1500 hours on that day there was strong convective event, and there was like very heavy rainfall. We have a visual image of that also, video of that event. So that event was like a very discrete event because it happened for like only 20 minutes, and in 20 minutes it washed out the entire column of the lidar, and there were no pollutants after that. So this is like what is actually happening in the atmosphere. There were aerosols before the rain event, and after the rain event they were all washed away. So this is like directly looking in the atmosphere, as I was talking in the beginning. Now this is the second consecutive day when there was no rainfall. So when there is no rainfall, this is what happens. The boundary layer again grows in the depth, and then in the close to 6 p.m. it then gradually falls. So this is the usual pattern of the growth of the boundary layer and its decay in the night time. Now from the lidar measurements we can measure the P-wave height. Actually, measuring P-wave height is not very easy. It's a very complicated problem, because to measure the P-wave height we need measurements of temperature and humidity in the atmosphere, and those measurements are only provided by the radiosonde profiles by sending a sensor with the balloon which can measure the vertical profile of the atmosphere. So that is only possible like 4 times in a day. You can send only 4 balloons in a day. So that can only provide 4 snapshots in a day. But if we say that the aerosols are like tracers of the boundary layer, if we assume that the concentration of aerosols in the boundary layer is like representative of the planetary boundary layer, which actually it is in most of the cases when there is a sufficient amount of aerosols in the atmosphere. So from the gradient in the aerosol profile, we can measure the planetary, the atmospheric boundary layer. This technique is based on a simple what you can say assumption that wherever we are finding the maximum gradient in the aerosol profile, wherever there is a sharp gradient in the aerosol profile, that point we call as the atmospheric boundary layer top. So this is like by only visual inspection we can say that this is more sharply decreasing than this. There is a sharper gradient here than this. But now to do it with a code or to build a code with it, we need to have like a system for estimating bound layer, and that is possible if we provide lot of input to the code itself, like what is the usual behavior of the boundary layer, how high it can go in the daytime, how low it can go in the night time, and how much it can grow in 10 minutes, how much it can grow in 1 hour. So based on all those inputs, a code has been developed by people, and that technique is called the wavelet transform, where we where we do the wavelet covariance transform of the Haar wavelet function with the Bhasketta profile, and wherever this profile peaks, it is called as the P-bell or the atmospheric boundary layer top. So it's like a technology which has been developed over like past 20 years by continuously observing the atmosphere, and from this technique we can measure the apial height of the atmosphere with aerosol vertical profile measurements. So as I was saying, this LiDAR measures the depolarization ratio. So from the depolarization ratio we can quantify the types of particles. So here, as you can see, this is the depolarization ratio, and if this is the like 0 and this is 1. So if it is 0, it is water cloud in the green color. This is water cloud. It is like mist cloud if it is pink, white. If it is red, it is like rain dust. And then here in the yellow it is polluted aerosol. So mostly this is like polluted aerosol. On the 3rd of May 2017, and this is the PPL height measurements for the 3rd of May 2017. Here we see that there is a lot of variation in the PPL height. And as I was saying, still the people are trying to refine the technique for estimating the PPL height, because there are a lot of variations here. It is still like not entirely related to the PPL variations, but we can approximately say that the PPL height is like 100 or like 200 meters in the initial stages, and then it goes to 2 kilometers, and then it gradually decays to 1 kilometer in the evening hours. So what are the expected outcomes of this many MPL measurements over Chiang Mai? Now Chiang Mai is a topographically complex terrain. There are mountain peaks on the eastern and the western side, and also on the northern side. So it's a valley site. So valley site involves the mountain meteorology also. Mountain meteorology is the way the mountains interact with the atmosphere, because if we go over a plain site, the meteorology is different. If we go on a mountainous terrain, the meteorology is different. As I was saying earlier, that this is a valley, Chiang Mai is a valley. So in the night time, the boundary will be quite shallow, and in the daytime there will be like rapid mixing because of the slope winds. So we need to have a understanding of the mountain meteorology and aerosol distribution over this region. So that can really provide how can we solve this issue of pollution in the Chiang Mai. Because if we don't know how mountain meteorology is playing role in controlling the aerosol concentration in the valley, we cannot address that problem. Sometimes it can be because of the slope winds only that pollutants are getting added into the valley, and sometimes the mountains themselves can take the pollutants from the valley and transport them up in the atmosphere, or they can even throw them out from the boundary layer. So mountains have this capability of affecting the valley atmosphere, which we can quantify by this LiDAR measurements. So these are some of the expected outcomes. We will first of all quantify the aerosol vertical distribution over Chiang Mai, and we will have qualitative measurements of various particle types in the vertical column. So we can understand that if there is pollution in the Chiang Mai, whether it is coming from the vehicles in the Chiang Mai, or is it coming from the mountains, because mountains also, the forest in the mountains and can also produce aerosols. So those aerosols can also enter into Chiang Mai and can make city polluted. And then we can quantify the relation between apial height and aerosol concentration, and the dynamics of apial height in context with valley atmosphere. And finally, the ultimate thing is to understand the role of mountain meteorology in controlling the valley atmosphere. Thank you very much.
talk. So, are there any questions from the audience? I can start with the question that I have. I think you have one slide related to mini MPL and Norit.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I saw that you also use the laser, the YAG laser. And for specification of the laser, seems like you use the power lasers. So I would like to know what are the advantages of using the power laser instead of using continuous lasers as a source of these LiDAR.
You are talking about the pulse laser and the continuous laser.
Yeah, you can go to that slide and you have the component of the transmitter, the server, and detector. I don't know which page, but yeah, this no, with the specification, yeah, this one. So from the table of the transmitter, so use a power laser.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would like to know why power laser. Can you use a continuous laser in this measurement?
It's very simple. If we have, it's only possible to have a pulse laser because we are like sending pulses in the atmosphere or pulses of photons. So there is one packet of photons we are sending in the atmosphere. It may contain like millions of photons, and from those millions of photons at every height we are having the like 100 photons from this height, 50 from this height, then 10, then 5. So it's like from that one packet we have sent in the atmosphere, every height they are getting some backscattered photons. And once that pulse has traveled in the entire atmosphere from whatever location we can expect the backscatter to come back, after that pulse has gone a certain distance, we start another pulse. So it can only be like pulse, it cannot be continuous.
So then the specifications of the power structure also affect to the resolutions of your system or not?
Yes, it's quantified by this pulse width. The width of the pulse is like only 10 nanoseconds. So the width of the pulse determines what is the vertical resolution of the measurement. So if the pulse width is say this is for 10 nanosecond, 10 nanosecond implies 15 meter resolution.
Okay.
We can simply say like C tau by 2. So that will make like 15 meters. So if you make it 20 nanosecond, it will be like
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Something.
So it's a kind of relate to the resolution of your measurement.
Yes. We cannot have continuous laser measurements. It can only be pulse.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. So any more questions?
So when you send the pulse, when you receive the signal from
Yes.
the backscatter photons, you measure it with the, like you also like record the time that you receive.
Yes, actually there is a technique called MCS, multi-channel scaling device. So there are like bins for every time slot, and each bin is activated every time. It's like a series, it's like a fast processing system which can change the bin every time it goes to the next level. So for 15 meter, next 15 meter, next 15 meter, so there is a separate distinct measurement of photon count for every 15 meter.
How accurate is that? So you kind of map the time into like height,
Yes.
but how accurate would that be? Can there be any situation where maybe you get delayed by, for example, index of refraction change? Yeah. Right. Would that mess up the measurement?
Do they have some uncertainty in this time measurement?
I think the height information is like quite accurate. I don't know the actual calculation involved into that, but as far as I know, the development of LiDAR usually takes care of those things by making it as much accurate as possible.
Do you assume that the atmosphere is kind of optically thin or something like that?
Sorry?
So do you approximate that the atmosphere is approximately thin, the optically thin?
For the aerosols, it is optically thin because if there are aerosols in the atmosphere only, then it can penetrate up to like 10 kilometers. For 4 microjoules, it is the maximum range we can expect up to 10 kilometers only. For if there is a cloud and it's optically thick, then usually it can only provide the cloud base only, not the cloud top. However, if it is thin, like in case of cirrus clouds, we can have cloud base and cloud top measurements.
And when you say that your assumption is the non-absorption
Yes.
atmosphere,
Our assumption is elastic and single scattering.
so but definitely the real situation is that we have absorbed.
Yeah, real situation is definitely different, but it's like way of quantifying by whatever technology we have.
Can you make it better if you use like maybe 3 beams or 4 beams or something, or maybe 2 beams? I don't know. Or maybe connected with a larger telescope.
Yes, there are like high energy lidars also,
Yeah.
but the problem with the high energy lidars is that they are usually biaxial. The receiver and the transmitter are separated because otherwise the PMT will be saturated from the backscatter. So those kind of lidars are usually taken for measuring the atmosphere from 30 kilometers to above. We can have measurements up to 80 kilometers. There are lidars which make measurements up to 80 kilometers. Like ozone measurements, usually they are done with lidars.
And actually, another question. Actually, I have millions of questions, but I will allow other people, but this is the last one. The telescope that you have, the system that you have to
Yes.
measure these backscatter photons, when you send the light pulse out, would it have scatter from the surface of other components in the system? And how would you eliminate that?
I'm afraid I cannot answer that.
So there would be some backscatter photons from components inside the system, like for example the surface of the lens, stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
and you use a beam splitter to split those things out. But then, yeah, whatever photons that backscatter in
From the external mirrors,
system,
there are a lot of
right?
mirrors here.
Yeah,
Right,
sure.
right, exactly. But wouldn't be a problem? Wouldn't that be a problem?
Part of the system also.
I think the system constant takes care of that thing. This part, the efficiency. This is the efficiency. This is the telescope area. This eta here takes care of it mostly.
Yeah, that's because it can be like a background. You can subtract
Yes,
it out.
yes.
Yeah, but then it seems like this kind of background is much larger than the backscatter photon when you get from the atmosphere. Right?
From the atmosphere.
And then even a little bit of fluctuation in the laser, you make this signal vary inside its fluctuation very easily. So there should be some.
Actually, lidar technology is like a very precise technology, and the people usually who make them, they have to go through very rigorous procedures before they can actually produce it for public use.
How much is your lidar?
That is also the same
Yeah.
question for me. You said it's very accurate measurement. So we also would like to know how accurate.
What's the cost of that? I think it would be very expensive.
Yeah, actually the company, this one, Sigma Space, no. So the original design was actually from NASA. So we know about how stringent and strict they are, like in terms of accuracy. They just spun off. Yeah. So I think actually, I think one of the vision or goal also of the atmospheric group is also maybe in the future to like build our own instruments because we learn more from building. Of course, initially we can buy, we can look inside how does it work. We can maybe replicate or I don't want to say copy or reverse engineer it. And actually, it's one of our goal. Like maybe in the next I don't know 5 year or 3 year, maybe we can have our own library together with your help. Because yeah, we are not really engineers, no? So we just want the end product coming from there. But it's a nice technology to explore and maybe yeah, if you build your own, then we learn a lot and maybe you can commercialize it in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that it's a commercial unit, but I just would like to know if they have some kind of specifications when you bought it or from the bank.
Yeah, actually-
What is the accuracy of
The accuracy, what exactly? There is some, of course, there's some plus minus, maybe in, I don't know, but yeah, I don't exactly know the number. Of course, there's no perfect instrument or measurement. So, but I think in terms of like compared to other methods, I think this method quite highly precise and accurate. Which we would love to like make our own as well because we don't want to always buy. and it's nice project for students or for research to really explore like maybe what the best material, what the best pulse width. And this you can only do maybe when you yeah build your own. It's a difficult task, but like to get maybe to the same quality that the commercial have. So if you want, we can build our own. We can buy the parts. Just tell us what parts.
maybe some question from student. I think we have only questions for the lecturer.
Especially for
And so why you will
from
make
the
locally?
astronomy students.
Yes. No, I think actually this kind of research is related to everybody because everything allow us. So it's quite interesting topic to explore. And so why you start with PhD student? So you know we still have some time.
In fact, for the astronomy also, they have lidars where they create like a virtual star in the atmosphere, and from that virtual star they measure the turbulence in the atmosphere, and from that measurement they are able to accurately measure the photons coming from the far off stars, because the photons coming from these stars are usually disturbed by the turbulence in the atmosphere. So to correct that turbulence in the atmosphere, lidars are also required in the astronomy also.
Okay, so can I see how many PhD students we have here today? Please raise your hand.
Anh luôn dù nó sẽ tay chị
And you may surprise.
How many can you raise your
Yeah, can
hand?
you raise your hand?
Hi. Yeah.
Okay, so you can make one, make one or two.
Right.
Would it be possible if we will produce the remote sensor at short wavelength?
Yes, lidars are possible for the shorter wavelengths, like in the UV range. There are lidars for the UV range also. Usually for the, I think for the ozone measurements, they are in the UV range, depending on the application of the, what kind of measurements we want to make. But as I said in the beginning, lidar is for light only, so it's like 330 to 800 nanometers only. Otherwise, it will become something else. It will become radar, or it will become let's say sonar.
Any more questions? Is there another question?
ขอไปซื้อที่
ตัดสินใจเนี่ย
ถ้าพี่ชาเอาแนวโซลิดนะ
It's relate to everybody, so it doesn't need to be specific to you.
พี่ชา
พี่ชาย
ไม่ใช่เขาไม่อยู่อ๋อคือหมายถึงตอนที่ผ่านแล้ว
ไม่เหมือนเลยค่ะ Yeah, okay.
ดูคำถามจากคลิปเลยโซลิดเสร็จจะออกมาสักเอาพี่ชายช่วยหน่อยพี่นายปริมาณถามได้ไหม
ผมถามไม่ได้
For the first presentation, you say the small cluster, the less dangerous than the bigger cluster. Alright. Yeah. We can improve the problem for climate in Chiang Mai by increase the size of the cluster.
But actually, the best way to improve is to really don't emit this aerosol. But yeah, sometimes it's like for farmers, for example, so they don't have alternatives like only to burn because yeah, first the government doesn't give any alternative for them to make it easier. Because if you like I think I met some researcher from agriculture faculty here, and they design like this like some oven that they can bring to the field. But if you go into the farm, like the big farm, it's really big area, and it's a lot of work for the farmer to gather like all these agricultural waste and put them in the oven, something like that. So yeah, I think it's better if you don't emit, because even if you make the cluster larger, then it will have a different property. Maybe it will be more absorbing, like this soot, this black carbon, and that will of course still affect the atmosphere, and even if it doesn't get into your body, then it will like maybe make the street black or something. So these big particles like this black carbon, and they absorb the radiation, and that will make, let's say, Chiang Mai higher, hotter or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's about time, so we have like 2 hours. So yeah, before, from the department, we would like to thank to both speakers for attending.
Thank you also for this opportunity, and hopefully more opportunity, especially if we want to build our own. I'm really interested in doing that because yeah, we learn a lot by building. Thank you.
Yes, and we also thanks both of you very much. That for me, it's very interesting topic. But like I said, it all relates to everybody, and we all complain about the problem that we have every year. And this can be one of the techniques that's slightly about the problem that we face. Yeah, and hope that it will lead to the solution at the end to solve the problem that we have. So first of all, I would like to thank to Dr. Ronald for the first talk. Yes, and the next one, Dr. Rama.
นักศึกษาดูสไลด์อันนี้ที่เขารีบไว้ให้เรานะคะมันมีตัวให้นักศึกษาคิดเยอะมากเลย
Maybe next time we will bring mask. And
And you already promised when you saw the format, you will give us the good one, right? So you have to have one of them in your tongues. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
When you have to have one discussion, you need a pause.
นักศึกษาแจกไปที่ทุกคนเลย เนาะแล้วก็สัมมนาของทุกคนทุกฝ่ายเนี่ยคล้ายๆดีพาร์ตเมนทัลเซมินาร์เพราะว่ามี4หลักสูตรที่เป็นพิเศษในรูปการสอนแล้วก็แต่ละคำนะคะทั้งครูแล้วก็อีกคนที่เข้ามาแล้วก็คงคุ้นเคยกับบรรยากาศเนาะก็กลับบ้านถึงบ้านเป็นวัยของกินกำลังนอน
Oh, this is a power, no?
Yeah, it's stop already.
Just close it. I mean, it's still recording.
ทีนี้ในข้อ